Hello and welcome to a short presentation on plant and animal cells. I'd like to start by taking a look at these two species you see on your screen, the African cheetah and the passion flower from right here in southern Illinois. From a distance they look very different. Of course the cheetah is adapted for high-speed running, catching food. The passion flower has the unbelievable ability of capturing solar energy and creating its own food. But if we were to look at these a little closer, maybe even under a microscope, and take a look at their cells, we would see that their cells, the cheetah cell and the passion flower cell, are very similar. In fact, they have more similarities than differences. They both have a nucleus with their DNA inside of it. They have mitochondria that help burn energy and make ATP molecules. They both have ribosomes and endoplasmic reticula to help build proteins and lipids. They have a Golgi apparatus for processing and packaging. So when we look at them at a cellular level, they're very similar. And what I'd like to focus in now is take a look at some models of plant cells and animal cells and point out some of those similarities, but also let's look at some very important differences as well. Here we have a model of a plant cell, and right there in the center you see a nucleus. That's where its DNA is located. We have a mitochondria. We have rough ER and smooth ER and a Golgi apparatus. As I just mentioned, these are all things that this cell has in common with any animal cell also as well. Now let's look at the differences. One thing an animal cell does not have that this plant cell does is a cell wall that surrounds the entire membrane and cell. We also have these little things here called chloroplasts. These are wonderful little organelles that absorb sunlight and convert it into chemical energy stored in food molecules that allow the plants to grow and develop. We also see that this plant cell has what's called a central vacuole. You can think of this kind of as a storage region for the cell. It stores different organic compounds. It also creates something called turgor pressure within the plant cell, which is important for a healthy plant cell to have. So to summarize and point out the differences again, plant cells have a central vacuole, they have chloroplasts, and they have a cell wall. All of these are unique to plant cells and are not going to be found in my animal cells. Let us now look at a model of an animal cell. You should notice right away that there's no cell wall, no central vacuole, and no chloroplasts. But you will see a nucleus, where its DNA is located, the rough ER, the smooth ER, the Golgi apparatus, the mitochondria. Those little blue dots here are ribosomes. Those are again all similarities that an animal cell has with a plant cell. So again, it has many more similarities than differences. But what are the differences that we're going to find only in animal cells and not plant cells? If you look right here, and it looks like there's another one over here, these are little sacs of digestive enzymes called lysosomes. Also close to this lysosome you see here is a centriole. Centrioles are going to play an important part when this cell starts to divide. Both centrioles and lysosomes are unique to animal cells and are not going to be found in plant cells. Now that we've looked at two models of a plant animal cell, what do these actually look like when you look at them in real life under a microscope? Here's one possibility if you take some plant cells and view them under the microscope. These are from a particular mouse species that grows here in southern Illinois. And if you take a look, you can see these little compartments here. Each one of these is an individual cell. So you see several cells here. And the white boundary or clear boundary that separates each cell is called the cell wall, unique to plants. Inside each cell, you can see little green balls. These are those wonderful organelles I mentioned earlier called chloroplasts, where photosynthesis is going to take place. Again, unique to plants. It's difficult to see or make out for sure where the central vacuole is, but each of these cells also contains a central vacuole. So you have a cell wall, you have chloroplasts, and you have a central vacuole, all unique to plants. Now, what does an animal cell look like under the microscope? Let's use human cheek cells as our example here. And you should have viewed your own human cheek cells in lab this semester. But if you take a look here, here's a single cheek cell, and that boundary that surrounds that would be my cell membrane. And this darkened structure right here is where all your 46 chromosomes are located. The DNA of you, the genetic information that makes you, is housed in that small little structure. Now, plant cells, again, have a chloroplast. We're not seeing those in my animal cells. Plant cells have a cell wall. We're not seeing those in my animal cells. Plant cells have a central vacuole. Not going to see those here in my animal cell. The lysosomes and centrioles that are unique to animal cells are much too small to view with just a light microscope. I hope this short little screencast has been beneficial for you in your study of plant and animal cells. Before I let you go, let's conclude by quickly summarizing the similarities and differences of plant and animal cells. Plant and animal cells both have a nucleus, where its DNA is located, mitochondria for cellular respiration to make ATP. Plant and animal cells both also have a rough ER with ribosomes attached to help make proteins, smooth ER to help make lipids, a Golgi apparatus for packaging and processing different substances made in the cell. They both also have a cell membrane that's just inside the cell wall here on my plant cell. These are all similarities between my plant and animal cell. Remember now, the plant cell, though, is unique in that it has a cell wall, chloroplasts, and central vacuole. Animal cells are lacking these, but they have lysosomes and centrioles. And this concludes my short presentation on plant and animal cells.